Hello Virgo, welcome to your weekly tarot reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is for the week of February 19th through 25th. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so, I ask you to remain open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. So, try to connect with each card and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I'm providing, okay? Remember that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And look at that. We've got a Prince of Wands. That's some very strong energy, very ambitious energy. Let's put that into some context with our Dove and Serpent spread. Interesting cards here. A lot of really terrific cards going on. Let's do our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card, and for that we are going to use the Antique Anatomy. And this is pre-shuffled, but we're just going to take one random card from somewhere in the middle here. And we're going to set that right there. We're not going to look at it until the very end of the reading, so definitely stick around until the end. And we'll see how that might, tie the reading together and give us the confirmation that we're looking for at the very end. Now, just bear with me one moment. I've got a problem using these backflow incense cones. They never really seem to work for me. I like them, but I don't think they like me. Okay, so we've got some major, we've got some fire, some earth, we've got some major, and then we've got some air. So it looks like a pretty good balance of card, except there is no water energy, right? Let me just double check. A little bit of water with that death card here at the top, but that's not the kind of water I'm talking about. So it seems like there is, either a lack of focus on your emotional life, there's maybe a lack of interest in love and romance, or you're just feeling that there's kind of an absence of it. It feels like it's not there, and I don't really feel like you mind so much right now, okay? But let's get into that. First thing we see is this Prince of Wands. This is someone who is intensely ambitious. I think that you have recently, kind of gotten started on something, like you've started working on something that it's like you got into it and then you started realizing that you really like it, you really enjoy it, and so you want to keep doing it. It's like inspiring you to do more and go further and do different things. You're the type of person that doesn't like to settle on any one thing too quickly. I feel like you love to experiment. You love to explore different options, and not just by, reading about it in a book or thinking about it, envisioning it. No, you like to go out and experience things before you decide if they're meant for you or not, With the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Wands is next. With the Prince of Wands here, this is someone who loves to go out and explore. I think you like being out in nature. Because you don't want to read about these things in a book. You don't want to see them on TV. You want to go out and experience it. You want to be in the territory, explore the terrain, not just look at it on a map, right? So this could be that sometimes you venture out without a map, Sometimes you may not really know where you're headed or why or what you can expect to find, but you're going out in search of something, okay? And I feel, let's do the Knight of Wands too. I feel that you recently got that kind of bug, that sense of adventure, that desire to go and quest and explore and experiment and experience. Okay? The Knight of Wands is that initial spark of fire, that impulse that rushes. It's kind of unbridled. There's not a lot of forethought. You just feel that force and fire, and it just takes off. It's almost like your horse is kind of leading you rather than you leading the horse, but it's tremendous energy, right? In any direction, whatever direction, right? And I think through that experience, whatever that was, it kind of like lit your fire. It kind of got you sparked up, And now I think you've caught the bug, and now you just want all sorts of things. You want to try so many different things. It's like it just kind of unleashed this really fiery ambition in you. Okay. Now, I don't know if this is something that maybe is happening at work or more in your personal life. I kind of feel like it's your personal life, honestly. There's not a lot of, there's some earth energy here, but not a lot. So I feel like this is kind of something where you're leaving things behind. You're just doing this for you. It's not like a career thing. It's not a business thing. It's not even a love, romance, relationship thing. It's just for you. It's just like you're exploring these new territories for you because you've caught this inspiration. This is like that energized enthusiasm. This is the real force and fire, I think, that something got it sparked. Something, you tapped into it somehow. And it's really like you've caught the bug now, you know. And so the Prince of Wands is the one, this is the energy that's really trying to take in as much experience as possible, trying to learn everything about everything, you know. It's almost like, we'll use this as kind of an analogy or a metaphor, even though, you know, don't invest too heavily on these details, because I think it's different for all of you, and I think it's different with each of you every moment. You know, if we were to lay out different cards, we'd probably see the same kind of fiery energy, but the circumstances would be different, because that's the Prince of Wands. Always looking for something new. What's the next adventure? What can I learn? What can I gain? How can I grow? What can I experience? You know, you've got to go out to all the dark corners of the kingdom before you're ready to, you know, to take charge and really kind of settle down as the, you know, as the king, let's say. But in the recent past, Four of Pentacles. I think in the recent past there was either, I kind of feel like this was like an injury or an illness that happened recently, last 4 months, let's say. I think that you've recovered from that. But I think that at the time it was very isolating. It may be something that was kind of a long, drawn out kind of thing for you. It may be maybe a chronic injury, chronic illness, but I feel like you were kind of laid up for like several days or several weeks even. And it was rather isolating, okay? And you had to kind of put a lot of your plans on hold. You kind of lost a lot of your fire, a lot of your energy, a lot of your ambition and spark, you know? With the Four of Pentacles, though, this is showing me that there's been a recovery from that, okay? So if we extend this kind of beyond the past, that's the injury or illness. But then recently there's that recovery, this return to a stable, sound body and mind. You're ready now. You're whole again. And I think that this is kind of the reaction to this injury or illness. This fire energy seems to be kind of reactionary in some way, where it's just like you're rebounding from this period of isolation. And this could honestly be talking as far back as like the real COVID days, you know, where we were all like kind of self-quarantining and isolating and social distancing and just staying home unless it was some kind of essential travel, you know. So it could be as far back as that. It could be maybe, you know, the last 4 years. But there has now been this rebound, this reaction to this isolated period, okay? And now we see this fire energy. Now something has kind of got your attention, and you kind of got up and you got involved in something, and that just lit your fire. And now you want to do all sorts of things. You have a list of a million different things you want to try, places you want to go, people you want to meet, right? I feel like there's a lot of this force and fire in you now. It could be the other possible scenario with the Four of Pentacles could be there has recently been an influx of cash, right? Or financial success that now has given you the opportunity to go out on these adventures. Okay, that's possible. That's possible. With the Four of Pentacles, it's talking about a reestablishing of the safety, security, and stability of your health or your wealth, or both. Fitness or your finances, or both. So it's just about the consolidation. It's about the returning to a whole, unified, stable state. And from there, you can go off on these adventures. This is the castle that the knight and the prince kind of depart from to go on their quests and their adventures, right? And so this is I feel like this is where we're at this week, you know. And it's interesting, these major arcana that we see at the top and bottom here on the vertical axis of the Path of the Dove. I don't know which one to go to first. We'll do the death card first, get it out of the way. This is at the top. This is, I think, you were maybe this injury or illness was so severe that you weren't even sure that you were going to make it. You know, that's a damn scary thing. But I feel like this recovery now, this 4 of discs, whatever that exactly is, I feel like it's given you a new lease on life. It's given you this kind of sense of starting over. I'm going to do things differently now. No regrets, no wasted opportunities. You know, fear and anxiety and hesitation are not in my vocabulary anymore. So this is a real fresh start for you. And I think you're kind of looking at it that way. Like you're using that as like fuel, that like every day is a brand new day. I'm reborn every day. There are no regrets. There's no hesitation. There's no fear. There's no worry. There's no anxiety. I'm just going to grow and explore and do these things. Now, the actual activities, I don't know. No idea. No idea what you're doing. Maybe you'll leave me some comments and let me know how this is manifesting. But I feel such a tremendous fire here that it's just like, it's burning away any of this kind of past, reluctance, missed opportunities, regret, hesitation, and it's just not there anymore. It's just all burned up. So it feels like this is a fresh start for you. It feels like you're kind of, you're done with this 4 of discs, pentacles situation and what came before, that injury or illness, whatever the difficulty was before the 4, okay? Because the 4 is the reestablishment of that safety, security, stability. So this is the end of the difficulty, okay? And the end of that difficulty really, I think, gave you a new lease on life and gave you this idea of starting fresh every day, you know, starting over, starting something new, like every moment. So I've got that kind of, it's really a positive energy, even though this death card looks rather sinister. This is some really good energy. And then below that, directly beneath everything, we've got this Fool energy. And the Fool, I think, is in some ways an unconscious force or energy in you. I think you've always had this spirit of adventure and curiosity and an interest in everything, this real desire to expand and take in as much experience as you could, but circumstances surrounding you rather prevented this from happening, kept it kind of beneath the surface. Something that you had to kind of, you know, it's a fun idea, but you never were really able to act on it until now. Or you chose to never act on it. That could be. But it's always been there. This search for novelty, this search for new experiences, this search for an increase of experience and understanding and connection and knowledge and communication, exchanging energies. It's all contained in this fool vibe, which I think, again, has always been a part of you. But we've had to kind of quiet it down because there were other responsibilities. You know, you had a lot of these kind of long-term goals. Someday I hope to XYZ, but the demands of the moment have kind of put a hold on some of these goals, aspirations. Until now, because I feel like now with this death card, you're just saying, this is too important, nothing is going to hold me back, nothing is more important than fulfilling your kind of true nature, what you really aspire to. You know? So it's kind of like nothing's going to stop me now, nothing's going to get in my way. I'm done making excuses, I'm done finding reasons to push this kind of, fool energy to the back burner. You know, these goals, aspirations, this vibe that I think you carry, this kind of wanderlust, this curiosity, this sense of wonder. It's almost a spiritual feeling. The Fool here really has like this spiritual innocence about them, where it's just, everything is so novel and so new that every moment is like a spiritual experience, you know. In the immediate future, next 3 weeks probably, we've got the Three of Wands here. I think the next 3 weeks you're really going to find, your stride. I think that this Knight and this Prince are going to really find some focus, find some direction. And it's like kind of finding your purpose, finding where you're meant to be, finding really what you want to devote a lot of this energy to. Now, I still think you have this wonderful desire to experiment and try 1,000 different things. Just collect as many experiences and feelings and connections as you can in life, right? But I feel like there's going to be a little bit of a focus. I feel like you're going to start to see a trend of the types of things that you go after, the types of people that you want to connect with, the types of experiences that you strive for, that you seek out. And I think that trend, that pattern, there's going to be a common thread through all of those. And that's going to be this Three of Wands. That's going to be like kind of very revealing about your person, about your being, about your spirit, about your energy, your purpose, your vibe, right? So I think within the next few weeks, you're going to start to see that trend. And you'll be able to trace that thread through all of these experiences, and you'll come to a really, I think, an intense understanding or realization about yourself and about what you truly want, right? Because we don't see the water cards here. Again, we don't see the water cards. So I feel like there's, not that your life has a lack of direction, but it has a lack of a real kind of like self-knowledge of purpose and an understanding of what has meaning for you. You know, by tracing this thread through all of these experiences, you're going to learn a lot about yourself and what you really want, who you really are, where you want to be, the kinds of things that you want to do. It's going to provide you with a lot of meaning. And I think that's what's lacking here. I think this Death card, this card rules the sign of Scorpio, which is a water energy sign. And I think that this is the water through these activities, right? Through this situation that we're talking about. You're slowly going to be eroding these really calloused parts of yourself to really get down to the core. That's what water does over time, right? It just kind of slowly scrapes away the rock until we've molded something, like a Grand Canyon or something. And this is really just slowly like washing away, scraping away the calluses that are around our soul so that we can really see and feel what it is we want, where we are, who we are. You know what I mean? That's the power of the water in this context. And it's through these activities, through this no regrets, no fear kind of attitude, every day is a fresh start, you're going to be slowly wearing away these calluses and, scraping the rock away, scraping the film away until we can really see what we are underneath, And that's through this Three of Wands also, and that's going to be a deeper self-knowledge, more of a realization of who you are, what you want, where you're going, the kinds of things that you like what really vibes with your soul, Let's move over to the path of the Serpent now. Because we've got this Mercury energy, this Magician card as your general energy down here. This is you. This is someone now, I think, who is trying to take all of this fiery energy, which is in some ways, lacks the focus, lacks the direction, right? It's just kind of like your horse is leading you almost. This is you really trying to understand that and communicate that with your person. This is you trying to integrate that kind of energy into your life. This is you trying to work on the trust, trusting yourself that that yourself kind of knows what it's doing. Because in some ways I can feel like it gives you this feeling of being out of control. And you don't like that. You like to be in control. Okay? So I definitely feel this Magician energy is trying to get a handle on that feeling of being rather out of control or reckless or without without an actual direction. Okay, it's the horse that's kind of leading the way, and Mercury here is trying to learn the reins, trying to grab the reins and take control and steer it somewhere. And this, I think, is a nice kind of transition, a nice flow of energy from this Three of Wands into this Mercury card, because it's through this self-knowledge, this understanding of your purpose, through tracing that thread, everything. We just talked about all that. It's through all of that that you're really going to be activating this Mercury. So it's really perfect that we go from the Three of Wands into this Mercury energy, because now Mercury has that control, has that understanding, is able to communicate it not only with people around you, but you're able to communicate it with yourself. You know, it's no longer just a vague idea or a vague kind of unconscious feeling or striving. It's now something that you can consciously put into practice. You can constantly, consciously and consistently plan for, optimize, and execute, you know. So I think it's a really good transition. And this is, Mercury here is the one with the self-knowledge. This is the direct communication from your spirit to your conscious mind, right? So you're able to have that dialogue now and really understand things. So it's a great transition of energy. The next card is this Art or Temperance card. I think your best friend is going to in some way be moderation. You need some kind of a check and balance here. Okay, with all of this fiery energy, and yeah, the horse is leading the way, but then, you know, Mercury can grab the reins and direct it a certain way. You still need some kind of a break. You know, not like a pause, but like an actual, like a foot brake, you know, or a hand brake. Something to slow things down, to temper some of this energy. And this, you know, may manifest as your person, your best friend, family members. It could be your responsibilities. It's just like another part of you that says, okay, I've got to kind of, you know, I got to take a day to take care of my responsibilities at home, or I've got to slow down a little bit right now so I don't, you know, get fatigued or injure myself, or, you know, something like that. It's just a little bit of pulling the reins back, okay, with this Art or Temperance card. So this goes quite well with Mercury. I think Mercury has to accept this idea that he can't just take this fiery energy and direct it nonstop in a certain area, a certain field of study or work or practice or play or adventure. That there has to be some kind of moderation involved, right? Mercury's not good at moderation. If it's there, he'll use it, but if it's not there, it's not something he's going to invoke, right? Not gender specific. Mercury is very fluid. No pun intended. So I think the situation needs that kind of moderation. It needs that check and balance. It needs that little bit of a break, right? And so this is, again, manifesting through friends or family, or just that other part of your mind that says, okay, I got to slow down right now. We're getting a little out of control. You know, let's bring it back home for a time. And that's going to be your best friend, I think. That's going to keep this from really getting a little too wild and crazy. It's preventing this fiery energy from just burning the entire kingdom down. You know, it has the potential to do that. Mercury could at least direct the fire, but we need this Art or Temperance card to kind of contain it, to bring it back, right? Because Mercury, again, doesn't know when to slow down. Now, the next card, fears, worries, and concerns, air sign person, possibly in your life. I think, because the next two cards, these cards are air cards here, so I wonder if there is someone in your life that is kind of has an issue with what you're doing or the way you're living your life now. We're going to go straight to the next card here, the last card on the Path of the Serpent, Five of Swords, and this air sign person with this Prince of Swords. I don't know if there's someone else in your life, best friend, family member, your person, your romantic partner, but it feels to me like somebody is kind of questioning you or challenging you. And it's not the same, no, it may be the same person that is acting as this moderating factor. They could be moderating through their kind of questioning vibe, you know. their inquisitive nature. They could be just presenting you with questions and ideas and alternative viewpoints, alternative vantage points, that then will be a little bit of that break or moderation that we need to kind of slow things down a little bit. It may be through this air sign person and their questions. You know, at first I was thinking, well, this is two different people, but now I'm thinking that maybe they're acting in this inquisitive way, and that is providing you that moderation, that break, that slowdown that we might need here. Okay, so I can see how this would probably work. It could be two different people. It could just be that this is your person, and the effect that your interaction with them has is this moderation, this break, this slowdown, you know. Not that they're trying to slow you down directly, but I think just through conversations with them, you're going to it's going to be that little reality check maybe that we sometimes need to bring things down, take a breath, right? So we've got all this air here that I think is a really important factor, because we've got all this fire, we had the earth, we have the fire, got all the major arcana. So what's left is, well, the water that we don't have, but I think we're searching for that. And then this air that is going to be the kind of rational checks and balances that we need. But let's look now at this confirmation card, this mystery card. I wonder if this will be the water that we need. No, this is a 5 of rods, or wands, as we're calling them here in the Thoth deck. So this is really a continuation of this fiery energy. So we ended with the 5 of swords, and then we're confirmed, mystery, 5 of wands. Not really a mystery. You are going to resist these efforts of this person. You're going to be maybe even a little bit offended by their inquisitive nature, by their questioning you, by their trying to point out alternative ideas or viewpoints, vantage points to the life that you're leading, right? They're going to question things. They're going to bring up issues that maybe you haven't thought of before. And I don't think you're going to like that, honestly. I think it's going to cause a little bit of this 5 of wands kind of fighting spirit. You're going to want to kind of you're going to feel kind of offended and abrasive because of that. You know, you're going to want to kind of repel that energy. All right. So this is something to be aware of, because this is yet an example of some of this fiery energy that's going too far, that is not utilizing this break, this art, this temperance, this slowdown. So it's just, you know, that's kind of the example. Like this is where you can really see this fiery energy working in a little bit of a negative way. Not that we have to listen to this person and accept what they're telling us as concrete fact, but you should at least slow down enough to listen, hear what they have to say, because this is your person, and I feel like you trust them. They're close to you. Listen to what they have to say and take it into account. Make your own decisions, but it doesn't hurt to at least have an open mind. But to just repel them with this fiery energy is not even giving yourself the chance to hear what they're saying and to process it and come to your own decisions. You know, you don't want to hear it at all. So that's something to be aware of. I think that is going to be an important example of some of this fiery energy, getting a little bit out of hand, We're going to take a look in the extended. If you want to stick around, click on the link that's right here, and you can have access to all of the extended readings. That's for the weeklies and the monthly videos. This was your weekly tarot reading for February 19th through 25th on Dove and Serpent Tarot.